With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy, blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 3 of 4.
Etc.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, having Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
There's something magical that happens when we let the me go, and a camaraderie where we're actually looking after each one another, and helping one another to succeed, if you will, and be happy and to have a good life.
Please stay with us to enjoy this illuminating Congress.
How can we speak of right and justice if we take an innocent creature and shed its blood? Isaac Bashevis Singer, vegetarian.
Today's program will be presented in English with subtitles in Arabic, Aulacese, also known as Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Korean, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, Thai, and Ukrainian or Uranian. After enjoying a delicious vegan meal in Mindanao, Philippines, you can say lami, which means delicious in Cebuano, one of the languages of the Lumad. Welcome, generous viewers. I am Nathaniel. The spiritual Lumad people are grateful to God for the abundance that nature provides. The Lumad are a proud indigenous society that inhabit the island of Mindanao in the Philippines, consisting of 15 ethnic groups combined. They comprise about 1/10 of the country's total population, living primarily in small communities surrounded by nature. The peaceful Lumad people strive to preserve their rich heritage and culture. Groups such as the Subanon study wind patterns to foretell the weather and growing conditions. Other groups are known for their handicraft skills, which include weaving, pottery, wood art, and jewelry. Their unique songs and dances, the traditional ornaments, and the colorfully woven dresses of the Lumad women all survive to the present day. These art forms are part of their identity and carry in them their stories and heritage. Although faced with a multitude of challenges, the Lumad remain true to their heritage and try to pass on their culture to the next generation. Their religious beliefs, which center around spirits of nature, have significantly influenced their joyful music and vibrant dance. There are many festivals held to celebrate Lumad traditions. These are often incredibly colorful and range from the Kamulan, which brings together 7 Lumad groups, to the culturally significant Thanksgiving ceremonies of the Subanon, known as Buklok. In December 2010, the first ever Middle East Vegetarian Congress was held at the Dubai International Exhibition Center, with the public invited to engage in an interactive exploration of the plant-based lifestyle. Organized by the Middle East Veg Group or MIVEG, supported by the Middle East Natural and Organic Product Expo 2010, and endorsed by the Dubai Health Authority of the United Arab Emirates. The event provided 2 days of seminars, workshops, and video telecasts with experts from around the world, along with rejuvenating veg cuisine. In addition, Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, was specially invited to speak via live video link on being a vegan, an environmentally sustainable food choice, followed by a question and answer session with attendees and the launch of the Arabic edition of the international best-selling book, The Birds in My Life, which was already sold out pre-launch. The Birds in My Life was printed by United Printing and Publishing, a subsidiary of Abu Dhabi Media Company or ADMC, owned by the government of Abu Dhabi.
Be veg, go green to save the planet, yo!
We now invite you to join us for part 7 of the conference titled The First Middle East Vegetarian or MiVeg Congress, held in the city of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates on December 6, 2010, with George Swan, who will introduce the concept of LEAN, which stands for Lifestyle, Exercise, Attitude, Nutrition.
How was the break by our sponsors? Good? You feel a little energized now? Excellent. Because we are going to have a very interesting talk by George, and even though I introduced him earlier as well, but I'll just briefly go through the things that I missed out. As I shared with you that he works with Abu Dhabi Health Services, SEHA, since 2007. And with over 20 years working in Saudi Arabia, he is also knowledgeable about the Middle East culture and unique factors that might be influencing the lean habits of this region of the world. He has worked in large hospitals throughout Saudi Arabia and in US, notably at King Faisal Specialist Hospital in Riyadh. Aside from his education and work experience, George is a dedicated runner. He completed his Dubai Marathon in January this year, and his wife Marie from Canada has been his supporting partner and loving wife for the past 43 years. Wow. He has 2 daughters. And in summary, George has put the LEAN principles into practice and is eager to share his personal commitment to this healthy way of living. So let's applause for George and Mr. Chair.
Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. And we've heard so much about nutrition. And I know all of you are here not just to learn, but to influence your workplace, your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, your communities, in fact, to change the world. Because change the world, that is what we need. And, I have to introduce LEAN in this way. It was about 35 years ago, and I had not exercised. I didn't pay attention to my diet at all, and this doctor came into our hospital and he explained about resting heart rate. And he said that if your resting heart rate is 72, that's normal. That's like average, but average is not healthy. Your resting heart rate, if it's below 60, is as good as 20% of the population. And if it's below 50, it's as good as 1% of the population. And he said it's very easy if you run or walk aerobically for 30 minutes every other day. You can skip one day, but don't skip 2. In a few months, you can get your resting heart rate below 60. And I have now kept my resting heart rate below 50 for over 40 years. And I just turned 67, alhamdulillah. And I know with all my colleagues, that I am just not aging quite the same way. So I do know something about being healthy. And I work in a hospital environment, and our business is getting people to be healthy. So the diet, the nutrition, lifestyle, exercise, attitude, nutrition, I learned that from a pediatrician back in around the middle of 1970. Has anybody ever heard that before? LEAN, L-E-A-N? lifestyle, exercise, attitude, nutrition. It's a great little word to kind of keep in mind when you talk about being healthy. It's a balanced approach. Just a few pictures. This looks like my breakfast this morning, along with a little hot porridge. You know, it was great. Just one way to eat. And, you know, I love berries, nuts of all kinds, vegetables. You know, I actually like raw vegetables. Sandhya told me that vegans have a lot of recipes and they actually cook the vegetables too. You know, that's permissible in a vegan diet to actually cook the foods, which is kind of nice to know. Now, something I was very, you know, impressed with the whole idea of the nutrition piece. But I want to, I've heard this before in the talks, and I know you all know it, but I always like to keep these 5 called dumb foods or empty calories in mind. Things like the saturated fats. Coconut oil, palm oil is particularly high. And of course the additives that they put in all our food, you know, you have to read labels. You have to know, we have a very well-known broadcaster in the USA is going blind because he was addicted to Diet Cokes. And he was drinking 2 6-packs a day, and aspartame has a side effect of causing blindness. Not many people know those kind of things. And then the 3 whites, I call them: white flour, white sugar, white salt. You know, in the US, the consumption is 5,000 milligrams of salt per day versus a body need of about 2,500. And of course, salt attracts fluids. It causes, you know, overweightness, and it causes hypertension, that kind of thing. What is particularly interesting about this is when we look around at the schools, how many of you are working in a business? Everybody here is working in a business. You know, we work with colleagues and we wonder how healthy is the workplace. What about our schools? You know, are we concerned that the schools serve foods that are healthy? There was a newspaper article last month, as a matter of fact, about the Health Authority has issued a mandate that the schools will no longer serve a lot of these foods that we see on the bad list. You know, the fast food kind of things, and processed foods are out. And I think any vegan in any of these, they started with 25 schools as an exercise. Any vegan going to any of these schools would not have a difficult time. They would find the foods there that they want to eat. Just getting back now to this lean for longevity and the idea of the lifestyle, the exercise, attitude, nutrition. It's really important to think of this as a balance. And I'm not going to talk a lot about nutrition because I think, you know, that's what you will hear a lot about. It's the other side of the coin, you know, the other side of the hand, the exercise. I'm the exercise man. And in particular, I like this graph because it shows that everybody starts off at the same place. And I'm kind of interested, those of you who are vegan, how many of you grew up in a family where that was the way you ate? Your parents, in other words, helped bring you into a vegan diet. How many people here actually grew up in a vegan family? That's very interesting because everybody here kind of discovered the vegan diet, if you will, through awareness. But clearly, we all have parents. How many of you have children? And so you are teaching your kids habits that are going to help them to, as they grow up, have the right habits of nutrition that are going to work for them. Just probably 6 months ago, I picked up this book, Tribal Leadership. And I want to talk about lean in the context of different conversations or different cultures. The author here, Dave Logan, calls it tribes. We're all members of tribes. And the conversations that the tribes have, he studied for over 10 years. And he did something like 24,000 surveys. He studied in 1,000 different businesses. And he found that in businesses, like we have 16,000 employees in our hospitals and clinics in Abu Dhabi. But tribes are between 20 to 150 people where people collect because they have the same kind of language. And knowing something about the language and the conversations and the way people act helps you as leaders to influence and help people make changes that are positive and affirmative. I'm just going to explain briefly these 5 cultures or conversations. Stage 1 is a conversation where life sucks, it's terrible, miserable, awful. And people in this, they represent about 2% of work groups. And they are the people who sabotage your company, they're undermining your company, and oftentimes they show up in gangs, like in Los Angeles, gangs that really do damage and are destructive. You know? So we're not going to spend a lot of time on stage 1. Stage 2 is about 25% of work groups. And stage 2 are people who say, my life sucks. When I look out and see other people seem to have all the advantages, they seem to have everything going for them, and I'm lost, I'm confused, and I don't know what to do, and I'm a victim. Stage 3 is where people have a skill set, they have a knowledge set, and for themselves, they're doing pretty good. And pretty much their work group is competitive, but it's I'm great and you're not. Now you might notice a theme in stage 1, 2, and 3. It's a theme about me. There's something magical that happens when we let the me go and we get into stage 4, which is more about a mission and a purpose in life and a camaraderie where we're actually looking after each one another, and helping one another to succeed, if you will, and be happy and to have a good life. And stage 5 represents about another 4% of work groups that are really committed to making a difference in the world. And we do go from one group to the other, but we all acquire a conversation about that. So there's another view of what we call 3 laws of performance. The first law says that performance and action is correlated to how the world occurs for us. And they're trying to say that it's almost as though, I think it was Professor Hegde said that the world is the same for everyone, but we all have a different view of the world. It's like we all have different glasses on. And if the glasses are these different types of cultures, then we could realize that I can talk to people, but they may be seeing things from a completely different view. The second law is that our cultures arise in language, and our view of the world is actually formulated in the way we talk. And if we understand the first law and the second law, then we can literally change our future by changing our language and changing our view of the world. It's a pretty complicated graph, and I'm not going to go through all the detail, but I just want to give you the framework of the way we're working with our leaders in Abu Dhabi and the way we can think of lean. So these stages that I just mentioned, if we apply what we say and what we see to the lifestyle, exercise, attitude, nutrition, we'll notice that stage 1, let's talk about stage 2 and 3. Stage 2 is a victim, and stage 3 is a competitive environment. I call it the hammer and nail conversation. So the hammer and nail conversation is like I'm the hammer and everything else is a nail. Or if I'm the nail, everything seems to be a hammer. If I'm stuck in this hammer and nail conversation, it's literally as if I was wearing a box. And it's a tough place to live unless I can begin to see what's at the root of it. And at the root of it, there's a voice that is always on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there is a voice. And if some of you out there are thinking, what does he mean there's a voice? That's the voice. And this voice, it has two switches. One is should, and one is shouldn't. And if you're a victim, it kind of sounds like, gee, I should be doing this, my life would be better, or I shouldn't be doing that, my life would be better. If you're a stage 3 person, it's kind of going like, I'm great, but you should be doing it my way, or they shouldn't be doing it that way, it would work better. And you spend a lot of time pointing your finger at other people. I learned a long time ago, when you point the finger at somebody like that, do you ever notice you have 3 fingers pointing back at you? So it means there's an inquiry, like, what can I do about that?
It's okay. Continue to make war, cause the world's people will hate not just only you, but they also will hate all your family, your relatives, your friends, and all your co-citizens in your nation. So you have company. Good for you.
Charming viewers, we appreciate your presence today for the first Middle East Vegetarian or MiVeg Congress on Words of Wisdom. Please join us tomorrow for part 8 of this inspiring conference. Coming up next is Rising Sea Levels, a threat to all life on Earth, part 1 of 2, right after noteworthy news. May everyone quickly turn to the compassionate vegan lifestyle for long-lasting peace on Earth.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Манай нэвтрүүлгүүд олон хэлээр гардаг. Зочлог хаяг suprememastertv.com/schedule болон suprememastertv.com/WOW.